Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, college coaches, and specifically tonight, volleyball coaches and volleyball fans. This is Coach Anthony Williams, founder and CEO of Connected Athletics. We are a startup company based in Austin, Texas, and this Spotlight podcast is one of our many products on our roadmap. The podcast is about helping high school athletes, student athletes, collegiate student athletes, and professional athletes use our platform to tell their story and to let the fans and let the community know they're not just an athlete, they're more than an athlete, who they are on the field, the play, and more importantly, who they are off the field and what they're doing in their communities and what they're doing to pay it forward to the next generation of athletes behind them. Really excited about our guest tonight, but before I get into introducing our guest to you, I want to thank our sponsors that make the show happen. I want to thank Buffalo Wild Wings. A good friend of mine, Regional VP Brian Soltis, is a big sponsor and very passionate as I am about helping student athletes get their brand, tell their story out there. So they have sponsored us. So I want to thank Buffalo Wild Wings. My second sponsor is a company called Go Edit Graphics. If you are a high school athletic department or collegiate athletic department, and you want to add some customized graphics to your outbound communication on social media, they do customized graphics that you can do on your own in your colors, using your mascot to do any outbound communication, whether it's a game change, player spotlight, or any information going out to the fan base about the athletic department. So check out Go Edit Graphics. They're based out of Nebraska. And then lastly, my friends in Houston, Epic 24/7 is a new apparel company. The president is a friend of mine, Stefan Johnson. They do high school uniforms, they do jerseys, they do workout gear, and they have a really interesting design style. So if you're tired of the same old brick and mortar stores that are selling workout gear, you might want to check out Epic 247. Epic stands for Every Play I Compete 247, and you can check out their website and go check out some of their gear. And actually, my guest tonight, Dnari, is going to get, and let me kind of show you here. She's going to get one of these, which is a really nice, if you can see it, it's a nice backpack that's branded with Epic 24/7 and with the Spotlight podcast. So got all that out of the way. Let me introduce you to somebody that I got a chance to meet here recently. Dnari Mills is a class of 22 outside hitter. She's at Cywoods High School up in the Houston area. She played for Texas Legacy Volleyball Club. She's 5'7". She's rocking a strong GPA of 3.8. She's got as a former basketball player, it's impressive. She's got a 37-inch vertical, which doesn't surprise me because I've never met a volleyball player that couldn't leap out the gym. And the good news is she has worked hard. She's taken care of her academics. She's obviously a good athlete, and she has realized her dream, and she is a commitment to Southeastern Oklahoma State University. Will continue her education there and continue playing the sport that she loves. And then for the fans out there at Southeastern Oklahoma State University, you can see her Twitter name there. She is somebody that we're looking forward to finding out more about. So Dnari, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to hear your story. As a father of 4 athletes, 3 boys and 1 girl, and my daughter played volleyball back in the day, but decided to play softball in college. I'm looking forward to hearing kind of your story and how it can help that next generation of volleyball players. Let's jump right in. Let's start with the most important thing. And I mentioned it earlier, 3.8 GPA. You're not going to college. You're not playing in high school as an athlete if you're not taking care of your academics. Tell us about your importance that you put on your academics.
I put academics first. It's my number one priority because without good grades, I'm not going to go to college and play the sport that I love to play. So that's my big thing.
Okay. And then tell us, what are some of your favorite classes that drives that 3.8 GPA?
It would most likely be street law and learning about like the laws of Texas. Yeah, I'm not really in like that many like core classes this year because I'll be graduating in December. So.
Oh, okay. So you're going to be an early enrollee, huh? Okay, that is that, now let me ask you, because I get a lot of that talking to football players and basketball players. Was that something that kind of you decided, or was it through help of the university? Like they need you right now. Tell us a little bit about that, because it's starting to become more prevalent in high school students that they're graduating early and start their college careers sooner than regular.
It's kind of been like not a dream, but I've been pushing myself towards the goal of graduating early. So it was my decision, but the college has like helped me to put forth the effort into making that decision.
So I'm going to keep it real because I always do with all my student athletes, but I have to ask you, I mean, you only get that second semester of your senior year in high school once in life. You know, we're talking about proms and we're talking about, senior cut day and just all those things. I mean, I'm sure you process that. Tell us about your thought process and putting that decision together to say, you know what, I know I'm going to miss all that, but I really want to go to college early. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So the school that I go to, Cypress High School, they allow early graduates to go to all their senior activities. So I can attend prom, I could walk the stage at graduation. So that kind of made my decision for
Oh,
me.
that's
Like
awesome.
I could still accomplish my goal and still do the things that I want to do.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that hopefully a lot of schools are doing that because sometimes it's kind of once you leave, hey, you're gone, then you're on your own. But I'm glad that they have that in place. So tell us, you mentioned street law earlier. What is that going to lead to? What kind of career are you looking for once your volleyball days are over?
So I want to double major. I want to major in psychology and criminal justice to be a forensic psychologist.
Nice. I like it. Okay. I love Law and Order SVU, so I kind of and Criminal Minds and all those shows. So
Yeah.
I like that. Tell me, where did that interest come from? That's something that's come up recently, or something you kind of know about as a little girl?
It's kind of recent. My sister was in forensics, so she kind of inspired me to explore the subject. And ever since, I've been just hooked on it.
Hmm. So it's interesting because I mentioned that also. So it's the forensics. So it's not just how the crime happened, but all the biology and this fiber of this carpet was found in his shoe, just all that stuff you see on TV. I mean, what part of it excites you the most about that career?
I think the part that excites me the most is finding out why the person did what they did,
Yeah.
like finding out the reasons behind the crime.
Yeah, that's a great point. Before it even happened, something, there was a specific action point where they said, I'm going to do this. What happened
Yeah.
from that? I love that. That's the psychology part of it. I like that a lot. Let's change it up a little bit here. Let's talk about you personally. So when did you start playing volleyball? When did you fall in love with the game of volleyball?
I started playing volleyball when I was 10. I started at Willowbrook. I fell in love with volleyball at the age of, I want to say 12, because at first I was doing pretty terrible. I wasn't really that good. And over the years, I kind of um, grew. I kind of grew in volleyball, and then I began to just love the sport and play it every single day. I go outside, I pass the ball to myself. It's just something that I just enjoy.
Okay. Now, so take that moment. When did you first have an idea that volleyball could pay for your college education?
So I didn't really find out about like scholarships and all that college stuff until I was probably about 14. And when I heard about how much money you could get, the scholarships, the really good schools you could go to, it kind of boosted me to play more, work harder. Yeah.
Okay. Going back a little bit to kind of your education and your learning style as a student athlete, for any professors that may watch this podcast at Southeastern Oklahoma State, what kind of learning style would you say you have? Are you more verbal, visual, or hands-on?
I'm more of a hands-on person. I have to grasp things in order to get it.
Okay, good stuff. And then, as far as your career going forward, I mean, obviously it's volleyball. There is a pro league, but it's not very much. But where do you want to get in and work for the city, for the state? You're looking to go across the country. I mean, what are your plans? What does Dnari have planned once she's done with the game of volleyball?
So I have like this whole life plan
Okay,
ahead
let's
of
hear
me.
it. Yeah.
So after college, I want to try to play professional. I want to try to go to the Olympics.
Okay.
And if that doesn't work out, I will have an internship to be a forensic psychologist
Hmm.
and kind of further, like the education, probably get a master's. So yeah.
Okay. Do you want to kind of work with the city, local, regional level, or do you try to go FBI or national with the federal government? I mean, what are your plans going forward?
My plans, I kind of want to work for the state.
Okay.
just because like in different areas, there's different crimes, different stuff that happens. And it's just kind of interesting to see and be around.
Okay. I like it. For those student athletes that are watching you going, man, I'm 12 years old, I'm 14, I'm 10, I play volleyball. I really want to be where Dnari's at by the time I'm a senior. What would be your best practice that you would share with them? I'm sure there's a lot, but what's the one thing you say, hey, if I had to do it all over again and go back to when I was 10, when I first started playing, what's the one thing what's one piece of advice you give yourself back then that you know now?
Don't be lazy. I'm a lazy person, but I always try to push myself and go the extra mile. When you go the extra mile, it gives you more steps so that you can accomplish your goal.
Okay.
So
Don't be lazy. I like that. That's can't be put any easier than that. Let's learn a little bit about your family. Usually, college athletes come from a family of athletes. Tell us about your mom and dad, what they do, were they athletes, and tell us about some of your siblings if you have any.
so my mom and dad, they are my number one supporters. They are big athletes. My dad and my mom played softball until they were about 30, I would say. My mom played basketball, my brother football, basketball, my sister basketball. They they're just a really great family. They support me in every which way. They help me out in aspects that I can't even think they could help me out with. So
Mhm. And are you? It sounds like you're the baby of the family, or no?
yes, I am the baby.
Baby of the family. Tell us how much impact it's had to have an older brother and sister who were student athletes guide you along the way.
It's been a huge impact because I would watch and I would learn. As a kid, that's kind of how you grow up. You watch other people, you learn from their mistakes, you try not to do what they did wrong. So, yeah.
Okay. And then tell us when you're not working out or at high school practice or club practice, when you have some free time, what are some of your hobbies and interests? What is Denari interested in outside of volleyball?
I like to bake. I like to bake like cakes, cookies, pies. That's my thing.
Okay. Is it more of a relaxation thing or something like, hey, I happen to sell some of my cakes or cupcakes or whatever to somebody, or is it something you just do for relax and get away from the sport?
It's a relaxation thing. I like to see other people like try my stuff and like tell me how good it is. It just makes me feel good that I'm good at doing something else besides volleyball.
Okay. What's your specialty? Are you a cake, pie? What's your favorite thing that you bake?
I would say red velvet cakes.
Oh, love red velvet cake. And if you ever have any, I'm a big snickerdoodle guy. So if you ever get into that, feel free to send me some of those. I love snickerdoodle cookies.
I will.
Hey, a couple of fun questions here to know more about you personally here, Denari. What's your favorite all-time sports movie?
Mm, water boy.
Okay, that's
Water
a
boy.
classic. Yeah.
It's
Uh, tell me what's your favorite food? When it's your time to choose where you guys are going to eat at home or go to a restaurant, what's your favorite type of food?
steak. My favorite restaurant, Texas Roadhouse.
Okay, we were definitely vibing there because my wife and I, literally every Friday when I get done scouting high school games, we're going to meet at Texas Roadhouse. Their steaks and their rolls, as you know, off the chain. So that's good to know.
Delicious.
Yeah. Tell me, I don't know if you're big into Marvel or DC Comics, but if you could be a superhero, who would you be and why?
I would be Wonder Woman
Okay.
because she's brave, loyal, true to herself. She never stays back, even if it's like danger. She's always moving forward, always doing the good for other people.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. Big fan of Wonder Woman. Let's go back in time a little bit for some of those younger athletes that may watch this. Tell us the process that you and your family used to help you make your decision on committing to Southeastern Oklahoma State.
So me and my dad wasn't really, he's not really a big scholarship type of guy because
Hmm.
he had went through all that and but my mom is the one to sit me down, help me email colleges, talk on the phone, give me questions to ask them. And it's kind of a long process,
Yeah.
but once you get through it and you push yourself through it, it gets easier and easier.
Yeah. So how did you overcome that fear? Because every student athlete has problems talking to a adult coach about their future when they're in eighth grade. I don't know when you first got offered, but I'm sure it was pretty young. Did your mom help you kind of get through and kind of, because after a while, the coach is going to separate the parent and the player, and hear that player advocate for themselves. I mean, what was that process like for you?
So my mom would do like mock interviews type thing.
Boy, I like it.
So she would make me sit down with her. She would ask me questions. I would have to answer them. And if it wasn't something that she liked to hear, she'd make me restart it. So
Okay. Tell me this. What's your favorite sports memory of yourself? A certain play, a kill, a dig where you said, wow, hey, I am pretty good. What was that moment like?
it was it was probably last year when I had first made my top spin serve over the
Mhm.
net. And it
Okay.
was actually pretty good. And it
Okay.
kind of inspired me to just keep trying, keep practicing. And that was the moment I had realized that I could go places. I could do big things.
Right. Right. Well, tell us, about your height. So obviously volleyball, it helps to be, tall. You're 5'7", 5'8", somewhere in that range. I mean, uh, outside hitting, it's something I love. I love watching volleyball. I have a lot of friends that play down at Texas and stuff. Tell us about what kind of athlete it takes. Maybe there's a girl out there who's deciding, well, I love basketball and I love soccer and I also love volleyball. Give us a little insight from your perspective on kind of the traits that it takes to be successful in volleyball, whether you're an outside hitter or a libero.
I think the most important thing is to be prepared. Like, be prepared for all the challenges ahead, to push yourself, like, never give up. Because being short and an outside hitter, you don't really get looked at by D1s or D2s.
Mhm.
But if you give up during the process, then something in the future was probably going to come your way and you never got to get that chance to see. So.
Yeah, I like that. That's very, very helpful advice. Tell me, do you have a favorite quote or Bible verse? And if you do, what is it?
So my favorite Bible verse is the very beginning of Joshua 1:9, and it's be strong and courageous.
I literally just posted that on my timeline the other day, so I love that you know that. That's awesome, and we got a lot of similar interests. It's a great, great verse for everybody. Um, as we get close to finishing up here, one thing I did want to ask you was, what's your why? I mean, as a lot of people who there are athletes and there are fans, and fans think they understand being an athlete, and it's not completely the same thing as you know. On those days when you don't want to go in the gym and work out, you don't want to go to the weight room, you don't want to go to practice. What's your why? What's the why that keeps you pushing through those days when I'm not feeling it today?
It's honestly the natural love that I have for playing the sport.
Hmm.
It pushes me and it drives me to keep going to the gym, to keep practicing, to keep helping out my teammates and encouraging other people to keep doing what they're doing.
Okay, I like it. Well, let's finish up here. Let's talk about this transition from Woods to Southeastern Oklahoma State. What can the volleyball fans at Southeastern Oklahoma State expect from you as you come in as a midterm freshman?
They should expect to see this short girl jumping out of the gym, out of this world, making unbelievable plays.
I
Just
like it.
a really fun person to just watch and take note on.
Okay. And then what about those fans of the volleyball program there who'll see you on campus? What can they expect of you on campus outside the volleyball court?
Um, they should see a nice, loving, friendly, heartwarming person. I'm a social butterfly, so I love to talk to people. I love to get out of my comfort zone, introduce myself.
Okay. And then as far as you choosing Southeastern Oklahoma State, what was that process like? A lot of kids, there's a couple of different parts of recruiting, as you know. There's the part where I just hope I get an offer, and then you're getting multiple offers, and it's like, okay, how do I choose what school is right for me? Because it's not a 4-year decision, it's a 40-year decision. Tell us
Mhm.
about your thoughts around that and why you chose Southeastern Oklahoma State?
So I chose Southeastern Oklahoma State because the coach there, Coach Solom and Coach Taylor, they support me, even if I may not want to go to that school or I may not want to finish out my education there. They will still come to my games. They should still show love. They still help me out through the recruiting process. They are just loving people. And when I went to go visit the campus, it's not too big, not too small. It's in the right area where it's peaceful, quiet, but you can still have fun. And the volleyball players, they welcomed me with open arms. They helped me see that not college volleyball doesn't have to be this world where you just have to sit in silence. You can only do your schoolwork. So
Okay. We talked about time management before, and I'm sure you were obviously having a 3-8. You understand how important that was in high school, but college is a whole different world. I mean, talk to us about what you do. What are some of your best practices in managing your time to make sure academics are taken care of? I'm be on time for practice. I'm gonna be maximized for my games, and still have time to have a social life.
so my big thing, and my mom always got on me about this when I was in middle school, is to put my things that I need to do first in my calendar or put it in my reminders. Make
Mhm.
sure I have one thing done before I go to the next. The most important thing first. My social life, that could come later. I need to get my academics. I need to practice, work out, make sure I'm staying fit, healthy, eating right. And then I could go hang out with my friends, have fun. So,
Okay. And then lastly here, all coaches love players that have leadership. Every coach wants them. Tell the fans and the coaches at Southeastern Oklahoma State how you define leadership and how you plan on leading as you in your 4-year career at the school.
I would define leadership as encouraging teammates, making sure they're always on the right track, having integrity, making sure you're not being a hypocrite. Like you're not telling somebody to do one thing and you go and do whatever they were doing wrong. I would say that being a leader is a big part of who I am. I don't fit in with the crowd. I like to stand out and I like to do new things, try new things. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, we talked earlier. Let's finish up with this. We talked earlier, and you said that you wanted to thank. There's a lot of people. There isn't a student athlete. Me being a former football athlete, and you being volleyball, we have a lot of help along the way. You wanted to have Coach Williams give me time at the end to thank all the people who had an impact on getting you to where you're going. So I'm gonna give you this time now. Let's talk about all the people who have helped you along the way. That's going to help you get into Southeast Oklahoma State.
So I want to thank Coach Katie, Coach Jen, and Coach Smokey. They're my volleyball coaches at the club that I play for now, Texas Legacy. I want to thank my mom, my dad, my brother, sister, grandma for supporting me and pushing me through the tough times, making sure that I never give up. I want to thank my school coaches and my teammates for just being there with me and supporting me throughout the whole journey. I think that's it.
Well, Dnari, it's been a pleasure meeting and talking with you. I wish you nothing but success as you transition to Southeastern Oklahoma State. I just got a feeling you're going to do fine, and not just on the court, but also on the campus and being an ambassador for that university. Thank you for your time tonight. Tell the family I said hello, and we might want to follow up with you maybe next year and talk about, hey, how that freshman year is going, and kind of do a follow up, because kids need to understand that too, that getting to college is one thing, staying there is another. So good luck. Have a great rest of the season, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.